Well, welcome everyone. Obviously, it's always fun to have media day after our first weekend, and especially when the first weekend's been as successful as the 2014 opening weekend. A lot of excitement out on Jeffrey Field these past Friday and Sunday, and big reason is the two young ladies sitting next to me, the leaders of this team right now, Emily Hurd and Mallory Weber, leading the charge. And we had quite the challenge this weekend. Two good teams. I thought both West Virginia and Syracuse brought a different challenge, both really well coached and organized, and I thought the team did a nice job of handling the different challenges that we faced on Friday and Sunday.
And now we'll open the floor for questions.
So how, you had said that the win Sunday was different from Friday. How do you assess that as different from Friday's win?
Well, on Sunday, Syracuse started out with a lot of players behind the ball. And in order to break down a packed defense, you've got to have a little bit of different movement than you would on Friday night when the game was a bit more wide open and there were more channels to play through. On Sunday was all about movement off the ball. And I think the first half, we were still trying to figure out how to be successful. And to Syracuse's credit, they did a really nice job of staying in, staying compact, and keeping those channels tight. These two did a nice job of trying to break them down around the outside and get their crosses in. But the runs in the box weren't quite precise enough. The finishing wasn't quite precise enough. And then the second half was a different story. And certainly led by Mal Weber and the pressure that she was able to put on their back line, and then everybody followed. And that's kind of been the key to success so far in terms of preseason and this opening weekend is these guys have had good ideas, the leadership has been very good, but just as important, the young players have followed. And we try to really stress that upon the team is the leaders will lead, but you've got to be right there with them and follow their lead.
Kind of made a big deal out of the way the freshmen played on Friday. After a game under their belts, did they kind of have a letdown a little bit on Sunday, or was it just, how would you assess the way they played a second time around?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I actually would completely disagree in terms of a letdown. I do think it was a different challenge, and but I thought once they figured it out, once the team and the staff figured out how to break it down, I thought their performance was quite good. And I think Sunday in general, there's this stigma that the performance can't be as good as Friday. But these guys are so fit, they prepared so well, that our thought and our hope this season is that Sunday is as good, if not better, than Friday nights because they're so well prepared.
Emily, how do you think the freshmen have competed so far this season?
I mean, they've been awesome. They're obviously a talented group in soccer, but along with that, they're very eager to learn from the leaders on this team, and that's been what has made this transition so seamless is because they're so eager to want to learn and want to grow each game and every practice, and they've been absolutely awesome. Obviously, they're a fantastic group soccer-wise, but off the field and with the chemistry within our team, they've been absolutely fantastic, and they're putting together performances like that of upperclassmen, and they're only their second game in, so I'm personally very excited to see how they develop over this season and their years here at Penn State because they've been absolutely amazing.
Mallory, it's looked good for the first weekend, but with freshmen, obviously there are going to be some ups and downs. Anything that you guys are concentrating on to try to make sure things stay as level as possible?
I think just keeping them in a team atmosphere and continue to get that team bonding and growing just keeps them more confident and able to grow as we continue to practice and play.
Girls, how much fun is it for you to play in a style where it's an aggressive style, you're trying to score and play under Coach Walsh?
Very, very exciting. I think that's why the Penn State soccer is so exciting to play and to watch and to be a fan of. I think that we obviously like to possess the ball. We completed almost 1,000 passes between our two games this weekend, but with that said, we also like to be very direct and very aggressive and get a lot of chances on goal. Obviously, we've scored 5 goals in 2 matches, so we're doing good on that. It's just an exciting type of soccer we play, and I think this year more than ever, already we're so cohesive as a unit in terms of figuring out our style of play and connecting with each other and connecting passes and getting some good rhythm in. And 2 games in, we're really excited. We have another big test this weekend with UConn, and then we'll go to a very challenging away weekend with UConn and Duke, or UNC and Duke. But we're excited. It's an exciting style of soccer to play and hopefully exciting to watch as well.
Erica, to see that cohesion early in the season, does that help you where you can say, wow, I can trust these girls to go and do some things, I can ask them to do more early in the year?
Yeah, the word you just used, trust, is at its height right now in terms of the belief from the coaches to the players, the belief in the system. Again, it all stems from their preparation. And Greg Miskinnis, our strength coach, got these guys ready. Mallory went over to Colorado and played this summer and took care of her fitness and her touches. But I do believe that their belief is so strong because they looked at each other at the end of the spring and talked about what they needed to do to be successful right off the bat, and then they went and did it. Their follow-through was fantastic, right through from the seniors down to the freshmen, and we stressed the importance of their fitness and their preparation. But this year, this season, these players more than ever took care of business.
What are your thoughts about the addition of Rutgers and Maryland to the Big Ten? They have two fairly strong traditional women's soccer programs.
I think first and foremost, it's nice to have two programs east of us, and just for our fan base and for these players to play in front of potentially a little bit more of a home crowd, even on the road, as Penn Staters travel so well to these different events. But these are two good teams, and for us, as you can see by our scheduling, we want to play the best. We want to play the best in our out-of-conference schedule to prepare us for our in-conference, to prepare us for the NCAA tournament. And they're going to bring two different styles, and that's what we stress with the team is every opponent brings a different challenge, and it'll be nice to see the challenge that those two teams will bring.
Speaking of the challenging schedule, you've got a pretty good weekend down in Carolina coming up. How do you not keep your team from looking too far ahead?
Well, I think that these guys get it, and it's a pretty senior-heavy team in terms of the starters and the leadership. They understand that if you start to look ahead, I think, for example, we had a weekend last year where we had Iowa and Nebraska, and I think they've learned lessons in the past from challenging weekends such as that one. So I do think you've got to go through it a little bit before you understand what it really means to look past an opponent. I don't think we're going to make that mistake again.
Are no other questions? Thank you.
Great. Thanks, guys.